Hello and welcome back. This is Candace from Candoodle, and today I have another very colorful card that doesn't involve any actual coloring. This is kind of the inverse of the technique I showed in my last video, where you don't have to color the stamped images, but you can still get a very colorful card. So let's get started. So I'm starting out with an A2 card, and I'm doing this directly on my card base, and I'm going to use the new Pawsome Stamps Summer Surfboards stamp set. And I'm going to start off with my sentiment, which I've already lined up in the center of my card. And it says, "Hope your day is swell." And I'm going to stamp that right in the center of my card. That way I can build my images around this and not leave out room and not have room for my sentiment at the end. So then I'm taking all of the little surfboards from this stamp set and I'm just kind of positioning them around my card in a way that looks pleasing to the eye. I try to just eyeball this and not get too finicky about it, which is sometimes easier said than done. And then I'm stamping that down in my amalgam ink. And then once I'm happy with how that's looking, I'm going to come in with my tracing paper and then use the same surfboards to stamp around again and fill in all of the white space. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I think it ends up looking really cute no matter how you do this. And you could use any sort of stamped images from different stamp sets for this technique. And I'm using my tracing paper so I don't have to worry about cleaning off my stamps in between. And I usually only have to stamp once, but my black ink pad needs some refilling. So that's why you see me stamping down so many times. So once that's done, I'm going to take one of the surfboards and I have a stack of post-it notes here and I'm going to stamp that down and this is going to create a mask. So instead of stamping like 7 or 8 of these, I stamp them all onto a stack of post-it notes, which I'm then going to cut out all at the same time. I definitely could have separated this into 2 stacks. It was a bit thick for my scissors to cut through, but it did save quite a bit of time. Next time I might just separate it into 2 stacks so it's not so difficult to cut through. And once I was happy with how those are, I'm going to peel them apart and then put them on my card base to mask off those little surfboards. Again, you could do this technique with any stamped images, but I really wanted to use these surfboards because I was feeling inspired. I recently got back from a trip to British Columbia and we went to Tofino, which is out on the island, and it is so, so beautiful. And we took a surfing lesson while we were there, and I went surfing for the first time. And although the water was only 10 degrees Celsius and it was only like 15 Celsius outside, it was totally worth it and so, so fun. So you'll have to let me know if you've ever been surfing down below. Okay, back to the card. I am now going to be doing some ink blending and I'm using my Distress inks for this and my finger blending brushes, which I absolutely love. And I just wanted a bit of a rainbow to make this bright and happy and colorful. And so I'm using broken china, twisted citron, mustard seed, spiced marmalade, and at the bottom I'm using picked raspberry. And I'm just trying to overlap these nicely. I wanted the yellow to be in the center so it was nice and bright by my sentiment, but you could use any colors that you want for this. I just wanted something really bright and colorful. So when that is all done, I'm going to come in with just some water in my distress sprayer to add some interest to the background. And I tried not to be too heavy-handed with this because I am doing it directly on my card base, so I didn't want it to warp by using too much water. But I do find I tend to always kind of overdo this part, so I did have to stop myself while I was ahead. And then my favorite part is coming up, which is peeling up all of those little masks. And I didn't let my card dry entirely, so as you can see, I pull up here and I started to panic thinking ink had gotten under because there was that blue, but it was actually just a bit of the post-it note which has gotten a bit wet. So all you have to do is wait for it to dry and then you can use an eraser or even your finger, which you'll see me do in a second, and just kind of rub off the residual that's left behind. It's just a mix of the paper that had gotten wet and a bit of the adhesive, but it came off very easily as you can see here. So if that happens, don't panic. And I'm just using regular post-it notes for this. And then, of course, I have to come in with some sequins to finish off. These particular ones are the Lotus Flower Sequin Mix from Pawsome Stamps, which is one for their latest release. And of course, I fiddled around with where to put these for too long, so I didn't show it. And there we have the final card. So you'll have to let me know if you like this technique or the one I showed in my last video better down below in the comments. As always, I appreciate the time that you spend here with me. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in another video. Bye!